With men still dominating governance processes at all levels, women's voices and experiences remain low. The few women in the system can neither make the required impact nor reap expected dividends.
There's a lot of fear and intimidation. We have had men in leadership for a long, long time. It is the men who are recognized as leaders in the society. So it's new territory for women to foray into, as to want to take up those positions that men once held.
You enter into a chief palace, there you see over 20-30 men around the chief. Then you ask yourself, don't we have a Magajia in that community? Don't we have a woman representing the voices of other women in that community?
If a woman wants to go in for politics and the opponent is a man, the man would like to bring her down or low to the extent of giving her names that will let the woman feel offended and will not come out and coil back in her shells.
We, the women ourselves, don't even believe in us. And the few of us that even believe and have that confidence, when you come out, the men will sideline you. They will find ways of intimidating you. They will tag you. They will do all sorts of things that when you are within, you will what? Feel back.
In many cultures, the woman's place is usually defined, a tradition the girl child is forced to follow as she grows into womanhood. It is also from a mother a child first learns the moral code of life, a role she is expected to play for not just the survival of the family, but the community and nation at large. Can it be said that women have translated this position of power and influence in other facets of life?
There was war that needed men. That was why women were relegated to the background. But these modern times, you realize that anytime a single woman out of a lot comes out, she performs best.
At a point in time when we got to a certain house, we were talking to the woman. The husband came out and seriously told us that he wouldn't want the wife to take part in any election. He wouldn't want the woman to take part in any election because there's a lot of work for her to do and she wouldn't have time for that kind of thing.
How has this perception and confinement of women contributed or affected their growth as an influence beyond the home into the political space?
Being a woman and grown up and raised up by a woman, I've seen how it is to be brought by a woman. And so growing up, I've always think of how I will become somebody to help the suffering, ease the suffering of my colleague, women and mothers in the community.
People would say that that is a very difficult task, it's for men. And I say no, there is nothing like this is for men and this is for women. Whatever you aspire as a woman to be, you can and you will be able to do it when you give it time and good planning.
I got to appreciate the issues confronting people at the local level, more especially women, with regards to their health needs. So that gave me the motivation to put myself forward as an MCE.
The yawning gaps in access to and control over resources, economic opportunities, power and political voice, especially at the local level, worsens the situation, particularly in Ghana, a country with 15.6 million of its population, representing 50.7% being women.
A small fraction of women who also believe that politics is so dirty, it's not a game that people want to engage in, and because of its nature and all that. But you cannot blame such women because aspect of Ghanaian politics is dirty. is unwholesome, and that well-meaning Ghanaians or women will not want to venture into these areas.
When you come to our religion, you see that women don't lead prayers. Women don't lead. So for them, we are restricted to the background. But in other places, that is not it. Though they don't lead, they listen to them. So you saw that education actually was a problem for women around here. Because they thought that the men rather needed to go to school. The women have to just be restricted and then move on to marry. And even now, it's not everybody or every community that is accepting it.
The recent, if I say recent district assembly elections we had, that is the 2019 one, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like we didn't even have up to 10 women elected. And you can imagine the number of electoral areas we have in the northern region, and we are not getting up to 10 women elected. It's not encouraging.
If you visit the northern parts, the level of education is not that high as compared to that of the south. So you find that participation of women at that level in some parts of the country are not as high as you have in others. And because of lack of education, it's very difficult for you to convince people or women that they have to take part in governance at the local level.
The educational challenges are immense. Therefore, they are unable really to compete at the level that they're required. And pressure also, we have pressure from families, we have pressure from spouses that bear heavily on women standing for political positions.
Ghana's district assembly system was introduced as the highest political authority in the districts in 1988 under PNDC Law 207 and strengthened by Article 242 of the 1992 Constitution to make local government effective centers of self-governance, local participation, decision-making, planning and development. Article 35, Section 5 of the Constitution also mandates the state to decentralize to ensure accountability, reduce urbanization and urban crowding. Ghana's Constitution and the Local Government Act gives extensive powers to metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, MMDAs.
The participation in the district elections has also been low generally. And there are a number of reasons that accounts for that. Limited awareness and education on the local government concepts accounts for the low participation. A good number of Ghanaians really don't appreciate the relevance of the local government concept itself, let alone show interest in the election that elects people into those offices. Another reason is also perception of insignificance on the part of the local governance system, comparing that to the general election. People think the local government system is less significant compared to the general election, and so the interest there is not too high as compared to the general election.
The laws of this country do not support political parties to be part and parcel of local government elections. You are well alive to this. And that is a factor because people believe that politics without parties is not much, it's something that people don't show interest in. And that is what plays out here. You see the energy, you see the pusher of people when we're talking about national elections, and you don't see same. And because of what, no party politics. And that is the more reason why some of us believe that portion of the Constitution must be amended, then it gives way for us to elect our MMDCs, and then we introduce party politics at the grassroots level.
At the general election, because the parties are involved, the noise around getting out the vote is louder because they whip up the enthusiasm and push their supporters to go to the polls. It helps. The parties are not involved, at least officially, in the local elections. And so that extra push that they give at the national level is not present, at the local level. that could also be part of the reason.
Women have failed to attain the 30% UN recommended threshold in the districts, making gender-based exclusion in these structures a major minus inequality in participation.
Our staff do a lot of community-based public education where they go walk, literally walk, because we don't have, some means of transportation sometimes, but they walk from market to market. They walk from group to group, from one religious institution to another to engage people that way. We also, where we can, have the public information vans where we go around and make the announcements and stop at places where people gather to educate. Also, we use what they call the communication centers. This is also very popular in the districts, and we work through that way as well. So yes, you may not see us on a big media house platform, but the work is going on and you will meet us in other places.
The underrepresentation results in a democratic deficit as women's expertise, knowledge and experience are not adequately harnessed and utilized.
There's this socioeconomic obstruction. Are they financially capable? In the society, are women in such a position that they will be able to, on their own, stand out, come out, and contest the men?
In our setting, it's always been the men having the money. And for a woman to venture into politics, I only thank God that my husband is well-resourced. My background is not also that bad. My family background. And so all of that together is what saw me through. Otherwise, financing is always a huge challenge, and I think it's the main reason women always have restrictions in venturing into mainstream politics.
Money is actually a problem, yes. As we speak today, we'll be having our district level elections. And the woman that would want to contest must be rich, you understand? The man that has to contest must not be as rich as the woman. You understand what it is like? That is to say, because the man is already known, that if I say already known, that is by our culture, the man is already in the first position. And that is, if they put you together, I think the man is ahead of you in that form. So you coming in would have to work harder.
If you don't have the finances, the people undermine you. One other key aspect of the challenges will have to do with our ability to multitask. Because as a woman, they want to see everything about you being perfect. If not, they say, tada pumbi yelia. Didn't we say a woman cannot be an MC because they are looking for you at an odd hour and you are nowhere to be found? They have to call on you. You have to be on their beck and call. Whether it's midnight, whether it's early morning, whether it's day, So if you cannot multitask as a woman, it becomes difficult for you to lead.
I, being the desk officer for the West Gonja Municipal Assembly, maybe I have a wretched motorbike, which I ride. I want to go around. I don't have fuel because our common fund itself is not common. So how do I go? You go to a radio station, you want to make noise, they say you should pay something. Where am I going to get something to pay?
Ghana has signed on to and ratified all major international protocols that support the promotion of women's rights and their active participation in decision-making. Among them are the 1981 Commission for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, the Beijing Platform for Action in 1995, the Solemn Declaration on Gender Equality 2004, and the ECOWAS Protocol on Good Governance and Democracy 2002. The Global Agenda 2030 maintains that in fulfilling the promises of sustainability, peace and human progress, gender equality is fundamental.
in 2015, we had 1,102 women candidates contesting for a district level election. Out of that, 280 were successful, that is, were elected. That constitutes about 25% of the elected assemblymen. And for 2019, 909 women contested in the elections, and out of that, 234 constitute 26% of the candidates won the election. So you could see that the percentage of elected women candidates are generally low.
Rwanda has become a model for the world to follow, with a record-breaking 61.3% women in parliament. The question remains, how did they achieve this? The use of constitutional water system was just one of the ways Rwanda scaled up the participation of women in its polity. 18-year-old girls automatically become members of the National Women Council. The South African experience is similar in perspective, with the 42.3% of seats in parliament reserved for women, while Uganda has it as a policy to reserve one parliamentary seat of the 39 districts for women. These have aided the increase of political representation. Ghana's Electoral Commission has once again changed its October 30 date for this year's District Assembly elections to December 19.
This is the surest way to ensuring development at the local level.
Development, they say, begins at the community level. It is in communities women and men alike discover their voices, assert their rights and mobilize action to achieve their developmental aspirations.
Because it is at the district level, at the local level, that ordinary citizens experience the democracy in action. If you elect your MP, unless you're in Accra, your MP will go away to the legislature, which is in the capital. If you elect the president, he is in the capital or she is in the capital. But if you get to elect the head of your local government, they sit in the community with you, right? And they have to respond to your needs, and they have to be accountable to you in the ways in which we hold the MPs accountable. Because that doesn't happen, there's a bit of lack of interest, but it's a missed opportunity.
With the 2024 general election very close, the time might just be right for those little changes to begin.
We need more education, and until the affirmative bill is put in place, we will still have some of this problem, because you can't do the education alone. But when it becomes an issue of a percentage is assigned or awarded, that this is the percentage we want women to be in our assembly, this percentage is reserved for them. It means it sort of creates opportunity, and they support, or this is the quota or percentage that they are going to be using to support the women. More are there, but because of resource-wise or other and those stuff. But when the bill is put, it will come with more, and when it comes with more women will be willing to sort of participate in this electoral assembly positions or elections.
Until we come looking at the fact that women need to be given some positions, are you getting me? Would that it been contested for? I don't know. I think we have to be looking at it. It's actually not going to be easy having to get the numbers, no. Yes, because you are coming out as a woman and you have 3 or 4 men coming. Sometimes they will even step down and allow one to stand with you, and you will just lose out. You understand what it is? So, but if a certain percentage is reserved for women, because I happen to meet a Kenyan friend who told me that in their parliament, for instance, they have this particular appointment for women. You understand? So until we start also doing something, so the women are many. Certain positions are reserved for them.
I know a lot have been done. A lot have been done in the past. by civil service organizations and NGOs. But why is it that instead of increasing and gaining, we are rather declining? The best ever we've had as Ghanaians was in 2006, where we had 10.1% as female assembly members. And since then, it has been 7%, it has been 6%, it has been 4%, and this particular current one is the worst ever, less than 4%. What is happening? So me, I am afraid for us as a country. It's a serious democratic deficit, and we need, as all stakeholders, to play a role, more especially from the root cause of the problem. That is in our traditional councils.
I think we should move action. Action needs. We should rather put more action than words. I am thinking that women should come out and we'll go to the parliament and advocate. Either we will tie our heads in red bands and flags everywhere around in Accra. Then we'll back to parliament and tell them that we need the bill to be passed.
The issue of participation in local governance is a right. Encouraging women to be part of the process of making decisions, economic decisions, political decisions. And also remember that women and men don't have the same concerns. Women's concerns differ from those of men. So if the women's concerns are not represented at a government that says it is the closest to them, then there is something wrong. We are not doing the correct thing.
And so this time around, the department came up with a framework on engaging men and boys on some of these issues, and another one on engaging traditional and religious authorities on these issues of women participation, harmful cultural practices, gender-based violence, and all that, just to get them buy into it and support women and girls when it comes to their participation in their decision-making and their leadership. So we're doing this. It's really a challenge, though, but we are hoping that at least with continuous sensitization advocacy, we'll get somewhere.
It is important that intentional and urgent measures are put in place to help address the underrepresentation of women's rights from the local to the national level. The upcoming district level elections therefore offers opportunity to mobilize women for increased participation in assembly discourse in order to change the narrative.